Hey, Salado Youth families, hope that you are doing well wherever you are, whenever you watch this video. So our family has just discovered the movie Home Alone, which is a family classic for Christmas. We had never really watched it before, but my youngest son wanted to see it. So we watched it this week, and my wife and I were laughing about how absurd it is that this movie even happened. This would be impossible to do in 2021. I think if Home Alone was filmed today, this is what it would look like. Oh my gosh, where's Kevin? How will we ever find him? Oh, wait, I have my cell phone. It's right here. Our story today in Luke 2, verses 41 to 52, is another story of a lost child, of parents who are scrambling and panicked because they have lost their child. But in this case, it's not someone who left the kid at home while they went on a transatlantic flight. It's Jesus who is left behind as Mary and Joseph head back to Nazareth. And they realize he's not in their travel group and they go back to find him. And he is in the temple and he's talking to the scholars and he's asking them questions and they're learning together. And Mary is upset and asks Jesus, "Why did you do this to us? Why did you leave?" And Jesus says, "Didn't you know I would be doing my Father's business? This is where I'm at." Jesus in this story is 12 years old, and as 12-year-olds do, he has a sassy response. "Where did you think I would be? I would be here doing my Father's business in the temple." So here we see Jesus establishing himself as the Son of God, that God was his Father, and that's why he was in the temple and doing what God had called him to do. And I think this story points out a couple of things that are instructive to us today. First off, hear me well, youth, you are empowered by God to go about God's business. Even if you're just 12 years old, which most of you in youth are older than 12, but you don't have to wait to be older to study God's word, to study and inquire about who God is and what God is doing in the world. And not just to do that, but to speak about it to adults. You don't have to wait till you're 20, 25, and you think you know everything in order to be led by God. One of the great things I love the most about youth ministry, and the reason why I ask y'all so many questions when we do youth time, is I love to hear what you have to say. I believe that God is working through this generation of youth, just as he has in every other generation of youth that has existed. And just because you're young doesn't mean God isn't speaking to you and God isn't leading you and God isn't giving you something to say that even the adults in your life need to hear sometimes. Because adults, our focus gets to be really different, right? We start focusing on all the things of life. And sometimes it takes our kids to call us out and to tell us that we're getting off the path. And God can certainly speak through anyone, including our youth. So, youth, keep doing that. Keep speaking about your experience of life. Keep challenging the church to be better, to be more like Jesus. That's part of what you are called to do. And parents, our job is to make that possible, to speak about faith with our kids. Why do you think that Jesus knew enough to go into the temple and begin teaching? Is it just because he was the Son of God and he knew all these things? Well, if you notice at the end of this passage, it says he continued to grow and to learn in stature with humans and grow closer to God. Jesus was building on the wisdom that he had already been given from his parents. He was continuing in the path that Mary and Joseph set him on. He wouldn't have known all those things, I don't believe, without the influence of his parents. We've already seen in our previous stories just how much Mary knew about what Jesus was going to be about. And while here she doesn't quite understand it, she obviously knew enough to begin teaching Jesus about God and who God is. So parents, help your kids learn to speak about their faith. Let them know it's okay to not have all the answers, that the process of faith is one in which we ask questions and we debate and we discuss and we look at different points of view. because that's where we will begin to see God working in our lives, in all facets of our lives and in all stages of our lives. But especially as youth, they have a lot of questions. And if they feel they can't talk about those questions, then their faith will be stunted and will not grow. So I encourage you as parents to let your kids do that. Let your youth begin to talk about their faith, and that they will feel comfortable to do that in an open way in your home. And that will help them to do better elsewhere as well. So I hope this word has found you blessed. Know that you are loved. We will talk to you soon.